Hello everyone, I am struggling playwright and host of Struggling to Write, Michael English.
And I am struggling playwright, Mikey Mills. And this is Struggling to Write.
Today with us we have...
Luke Beckett, how you doing?
Luke Beckett's here all the time, and we love him. We love keeping him around here. Featuring Luke Beckett, we need to start saying on these. Today...
Got a little recurring occurrence with Luke. Near and dear to our podcast.
Today we are going to be looking at our worst works we've ever written. So we're going to start with a Mafia Family Guy script that Mikey wrote. How old were you when you wrote that?
I was 18.
Oh.
And it says the draft, the date, is November 1st, 2017. So this is right after I famously dropped out of college.
Oof.
And
Me too. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Well, Amazon Prime was doing this promotion. They were trying to get writers to write TV shows. And they were offering $10,000 for whoever can come up with a pilot. So I thought, I'll write something, even though I really hadn't written anything good yet. And so this is The Vinnies. It's about
Italian Family Guy.
It's basically Italian Family Guy. And we're going to read the first few scenes. I've not looked at this in... How far away is 2017 from now?
And after we read Mikey's The Vinnies, we are going to, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about writing. We're going to talk about a horrible show that I have had an idea for a long time. Then we're going to move on to the Behind the Curtain segment, where today we are going to be doing character karaoke. So we're all gonna get a character. And then we're all going to have to do a karaoke song, improv on the spot for that character.
Oh, that sounds like a ton of fun.
And then after that, we are going to talk some more and then dive into our musical goodbye, which I haven't planned at all for this episode. So maybe for the worst scripts ever, it might also be our worst musical goodbye.
Could be the funniest, though.
That's fair.
But, the best part is, this isn't technically, I guess, my worst script. If we're going like my entire life, I wrote a skit in the 8th grade. It was called The Halogen Family. And there was like 5 girls I had a crush on in that class. And I wrote a show specifically so they would come to my house and we could do a skit.
Are you talking about the clip that's from like chemistry where
Wait.
all the girls came to Mikey's house?
Yes,
That's it. I literally wrote it just because I was like, I'm getting a bunch of popular girls at my house.
Without further ado, do you want to dive into the Vinnies?
Let's get into the Vinnies.
I have a couple costume pieces for I brought the Trump wig if you want to bring it, put it on for me. I don't know. Alright.
I guess we gotta divvy out the characters.
Yep.
And again, I have no idea anything about this. I looked at this for like a little bit.
Okay.
But it starts out...
Can I play Maria?
Sure.
I'm thinking a New Jersey accent.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
I'll be Vinny,
Awesome.
Who wants to be Kyle?
I can be Kyle.
You can be Kyle, too.
Yeah.
I think these are all Vinny's kids. So Vinny's like the Peter Griffin of the show. Even though I, for some reason, picture him looking like Cleveland in a, like, black leather jacket. So picture that.
Cleveland? Like Cleveland Brown?
Cleveland Brown. Picture that.
Okay.
But with a black leather jacket.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
So, alright, the Vinny's pilot.
How many Italians are black?
Alright, fade in. Exterior. The Marino household. A full shot of the house's front facade is shown. Perhaps some birds fly by as a big band-esque theme play. Like Family Guy.
Uh-huh.
Interior. The Marino living room. This is basically like, doing da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Then it goes to the shot of the living room.
All those sound effects in there.
Yep.
The transitions.
I wanted to do this for Behind the Curtain, but I didn't know how the heck I could do this. Then it's the last few seconds of The Sopranos ending plays. The last episode cuts to black. Spoilers, sorry. Then interior, the Marino living room again. Vinny blinks a couple times, obviously in shock, and exclaims, "That's it? That's what they're going to give me for an ending?"
Didn't your friends say you'd be disappointed?
I mean, they did, but I didn't expect this. There's got to be some kind of closure.
I like it. Everything's up to the viewer to decide.
Oh, okay. So I sit in front of the TV to make decisions. I literally watch TV for the sole purpose of not having to decide anything. Everything is fed to me. Kyle checks his phone and gets up.
How do you want Kyle to talk?
An Italian teen.
What is Italian talk?
It's me.
And I'd love to stay with a chat, but I don't talk in the mood.
That's jokes.
Well, I'd love to stay and chat, but I told Jack and them we could play video games tonight.
This is like the Chris of the show. He starts to leave.
I told Chris we could go out as well.
Now wait just a minute, young lady. You are not going to go out looking like that. Sophia sighs and takes off a layer of clothing. Then she starts to leave. It's a gag. That's my daughter. I want to dress to impress. I don't want to be the prudish father.
Any more clothing off and she'll be working at the Bada Bing.
That's the name of the strip club in
That makes
what's
sense.
it called? The Sopranos. Actually called that. All right. Now it's actually the act one.
So right
scene
there
A.
would be a transition music.
Yeah, transition music. Exterior, Vinny's launder wash.
We have new people.
A full shot of the car wash laundromat complex is shown. Cut to interior, Vinny's launder wash. Vinny is standing at the cash register with a few other guys talking. It's really just not fair to the view of the show. Kaput! Over! No closure. You can be Ronaldo.
Oh, jeez, I haven't seen you this upset since Inception.
Believe me, this is worse. The Sopranos, I could actually relate. Vinny stops as a customer walks up to the register. The other guys start doing their own business, perhaps smoking a cigarette, etc. You can be customer.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to get a full service for my SUV.
Vinny hands him a sheet of paper and a pen. All right, just fill out your name and some information on your vehicle. The customer starts to fill out the form. Would you be interested in a squeaky clean rewards program?
How much does it cost?
That depends. How much is a free car wash and laundry on your birthday worth to you?
Yeah, maybe $5.
All right, that's the price. Your car will be ready 2 days from now. Vinny hands the customer some paperwork. The customer hands Vinny money and receives a rewards card. The customer exits.
I thought the rewards program was free.
If someone asks how much it costs, it's whatever their imagination thinks it is. I like the hat.
I switch it back and forth for characters.
That's good.
Okay, take my beard.
Vinny, remembering what he's thinking about. Anyways, as I was saying, I didn't really have a connection to Inception like I do The Sopranos. It's our way of life.
We all told you that you'd be mad about the ending.
Vinny gets up, and they all start to exit to outside the launder wash. Well, you certainly weren't wrong. It's been the only thing on my mind. Exterior, Vinny's launder wash. Rear, the back of the complex is shown with a large SUV sitting there. Vinny looking over the vehicle, it being what was just dropped off. Well, isn't this a beauty? It looks like we'll be repossessing the goods tonight.
I thought we gave them more time.
The more time we give them, the worse the situation will get. Besides, that was before my binge watching ended in pitch black. Not to mention that this is the perfect vehicle for this, and I've got to have it all cleaned out in 2 days. Stole this customer's vehicle for doing a heist. I think that's what it is. But because it only printed out 6 pages, we will not get anywhere near to what was happening.
That makes sense. I was a little confused.
Yeah. Scene B. Exterior, John F. Kennedy High School. A school bell is heard, and this is the last page, so we'll barely get into this scene. Kyle is talking to Jack as the school bully, Jared, walks up to them.
Okay, dweebs, where's my math homework?
Oh, crap. I didn't do it. Because my dad has been making me watch some stupid TV show. Jack, you've got your copy, right?
I do, but I don't think there's enough time for you both to copy it. Chris, passing in the hallway, notices the confrontation and begins walking up to Jared.
Looks like you two should really learn how to manage your time better.
He laughs and grabs... He laughs and grabs Jack's notebook as Chris walks up to the three and pushes Jared up into a locker. That's all I got.
Struggling.
That's all I got.
Struggling to write.
So, if I remember correctly, it's about a big heist that goes wrong and at the end somebody dies. So, what I kind of wanted with this show was to be Family Guy, but also with a plot. Like a plot that changes and evolves like, you know, a TV show series.
You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little confused, especially with the car wash scene. Bless you.
Thank you.
You always sneeze on
I
the
know I do. I try to hide it.
I was a little confused. Once you explained it to me, I understood. But the concept of Italian Family Guy is hilarious.
It is.
Oh, I mean, I think it'd work, but the problem is I don't think that any company would take a script that is so obviously Family Guy. In
Well,
which I was even thinking Family Guy character design.
Yeah, you named. Did you notice that one of the sons you named?
I named one of the sons Chris. I think. No, I didn't.
Who is
Someone's
Chris?
named Chris.
It's in
we
the
didn't meet Chris.
You originally named him Chris, but then you went back and fixed it so his name wasn't Chris. So it's
There is a Chris
Kyle.
in the show. Kyle. Kyle's the son. Kyle Marino.
right.
Ah.
Chris is, I think, Kyle's friend.
Oh,
Okay.
But yeah, I don't remember anything much else that happens. Someone dies at the end. There's a big musical number, like Family Guy. And
so this is one episode.
this is one episode. It's 30 minutes, or 22 minutes, I think. I did do some research for this, but is it that good? No. Like, a lot of things are kind of unclear. Like the launder wash, it's obvious their motive is customers, I guess, take the cars to the launder wash and they, do crime with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not tracked back to them, which, I don't know, I guess it kind of makes sense, but
No, it's
I mean, it's like a comedy. No comedy goes into full detail. Like
yeah,
ever.
right.
Like one episode, their house will burn down, and the next one they're just back in the house.
Right.
So like they
It's a
never make
comedy.
sense. It's comedy, yeah. It's a one episode joke.
And, with Family Guy, I really took some good inspiration. There's a fight at the end. Instead of the chicken, it's a giant bowl of spaghetti. I made that up.
What?
That's not a thing. But somebody dies at the end. I don't remember what. I think it's like a gang brawl. Kind of like West Side Story.
Yeah, I was about to say West Side
I
Story.
guess.
Yeah.
But-
Are you ever going to touch this script again, Mike?
No, I don't think I'll ever touch this again. Because I like to write stuff that will actually get done, hopefully. I mean, I say that with very wishful thinking with anything, but...
You almost hired an animator to make this our behind the curtain for today's episode.
Well, you know what I was trying to do? Was get, Go Animate. You remember that? Where
Yeah.
you could,
yeah. Did you
and
talk
it
to
looked-
Nathan, your brother? Could he not?
Well, Go Animate was discontinued, a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, but with that, the characters really do look like Family Guy characters. So it
Yeah.
could have been funny if I could have done it, but... well.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
What are you going to do about it? Not
Like,
much.
come on,
Come
you
on.
asking me.
No one ever knew about the script, and finally it made its way to our worst works ever
Yeah.
episode of
So it's
Struggling
accomplished
to Write.
something.
It did,
Yeah.
by being bad.
It has seen the light of day. Yeah, speaking of Family Guy, I think I wanted to talk about Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, he's such
Yeah.
a talented guy.
Oh,
Have you heard the
very.
guy sing?
No, I
man.
haven't. He sings.
He is
Really?
so talented.
So talented.
Have either of you seen I think it's titled this, 1,000 Ways to Die in the West? Or
Yes.
1,000 Ways
Yes.
to So it's Seth MacFarlane
That's
leads
a
in
good
that.
movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. I've always thought that would deliver as a stage play so well.
I can see it.
You know what I don't get? Seth MacFarlane. Now he's really into the music I'm into,
Right.
big band and before.
Yeah.
And he's made albums. Why the heck hasn't he written a Broadway show? It would be a smash hit.
He could be the
True.
next Mel Brooks if he wanted to.
And I hope they wouldn't just do a little cop out and do Family Guy the musical. I hope he would come up with something original and not just say, "Oh, well, it's an
It's
existing
in the hands of
intellectual
anyone
property
who would do
that
that."
will automatically make money."
Yeah.
Well,
There's too many sequels and transitions of stuff that already exist. Come up with something original. He's a talented guy.
Now
I
you're-
guarantee you, he would make a smash hit show. Tony Award winning.
Do you think he would capitalize off of Family Guy, though? I think...
I mean, let's be
He's
honest.
got a couple of hits, like Ted.
It wouldn't be him if... I don't think he's even involved except in the voices at this point because he
Right.
got burnt
Yeah.
out. But
That's fair.
talented guy, could definitely write a musical.
I hate movie musicals, movies that have been turned in. Back to the Future. I've heard the technical effects are amazing, but some of the music, and a lot of the music's good, but some of the music is awful.
Worst one?
Doesn't fit.
You know what the worst?
Yeah.
The
It's
worst.
disappointing, but yeah.
The worst movie to show transition I've ever seen is The Wedding Singer, and it's not that
Never
the
heard of
show
that.
itself is that bad.
That's an Adam Sandler movie, isn't
It's
it?
because all the
I'm
songs
out.
in the movie they didn't want to pay for the rights to use the movie songs.
That's cheap.
So they wrote
Right.
songs that vaguely sound like it. And I'm
like
like,
Grease.
I don't think
come
I've ever
on,
heard of that.
everybody
If you-
knows this.
What is that? I've
if
never
you
heard
do
of that.
Grease, you can only do certain songs, and then you have to apply for more rights if you want the movie songs.
Really?
Really?
That is sleazy.
It is insane.
Ugh.
Like Grease Lightning, I think is one. I may be wrong, but there are a couple of the really popular ones. They
So-
make you pay extra for.
You're telling me there's productions of Grease where they're like, All right, well, and for this next number, we're going to do a little rock and roll your boat.
It's a lot of the teen productions. They won't do, like, if it's a high school, they're like, we don't need to do these extra couple songs.
Really?
And a lot of the high schools can't afford it,
Wow.
so obviously they're not going to.
Like you said, sleazy.
Well,
Yeah.
if you guys do any of our shows, we would never rip you off like that.
No.
Never.
Well, we
Scout's
will write
honor.
extra scenes. You want an alternate ending? We got you.
We're desperate.
Yeah, please do our plays. I will say we saw Beetlejuice the musical.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was really good.
I love it. I really do like the show. You wouldn't like a lot of the music.
No, but would I at least appreciate the plot? Would I think it's well written?
Yes.
Yeah, the comedy's there. It's funny. The actors are phenomenal. A lot of people compare the Beetlejuice character as like the modern day Phantom, as in
Really?
not show wise, as in it's a hard role to play.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest male roles they
You
say
have
to
got
play.
to be like really up to bat for that role. Like you've got to interact with the crowd just enough, but not too much. You need to be just the right amount of dark, right amount of funny. Don't try too hard. Be a little serious. Such a hard role.
He sings like 6 different types of singing. Like he'll do classical, then rock metal. Yeah, there's a lot of. I know you're not really into the modern sounding music and most,
but
I mean,
but I appreciate a good script.
Yeah.
The script was great, and I will say there's only a few songs that I think you would totally hate. There's a lot of songs
really?
that are
They're not
really
bad.
good. And have you've seen Beetlejuice the movie?
Yeah, I've seen the movie, and I thought it was a pretty good movie. Interesting concept.
Of course, they switch it up a whole lot. So there's a lot of differences,
But-
which I'm glad they don't try to replicate 100%.
Well,
Exactly,
yeah, and I think there's room for improvement. I think that if you're going to now, again, I'm mostly a fan of original stuff. Don't just take something that's rehashed 20,000 times.
Right.
But I will say that there are some stage shows. Big Fish is one that improved on the movie, which originally was a book. The book, my dad read it. He was like, "Wow, this Edward Bloom guy's a jerk." Then and I never think that a main character should be unlikable. When I played the character, I wanted to make him likable because the audience doesn't want that.
No, I see what
and I don't
you're
think it was
In
written
the book,
like that.
In the book, he's written unlikable.
Well, okay, so it's a father who tells a story to a bunch of stories that are kind of made up, but with an element of truth in them.
Right.
And he tells these stories to his son, but he's a traveling salesman, so he never gets to spend that much time with his son. So it's about rekindling his relationship with his son as he's about to die. It's a really touching story. But the book, Edward Bloom is a jerk. And at least that's what my dad told me. He's the only one who read the book. I didn't have time for that. But the movie is better. It's a Tim Burton movie.
Oh, I didn't know
But at the same time, it doesn't have polish. It's like, I'm like, it's all right, but then the musical takes the movie and the book, takes the best elements out of both, but then takes what didn't work in the movie and just makes it so much better. It's such a good show.
I'm not familiar
So
with the musical,
well written,
but I have not watched it all the way through, but I've listened to some of the score, and the score from what I've listened to is really pretty.
Oh yeah, and
Really beautiful score.
and it's like really touching. I mean, the ending is just. I mean, there's so much imagery.
A lot of fun characters too.
Oh yeah.
Like it's circus characters. Did you say that?
Well, that's just one part of the show. There's a bunch of
Right.
intermingled stories in the script. It's kind of like what Seussical should have been if they actually didn't just make it Horton Hears a Hoosical. That's literally all it is.
Why did they name it Seussical?
But,
So
like,
they could
I-
brand the Cat in the Hat in it.
And that kind of just that just occurred to me that Big Fish has 5, 6, 7 stories intermingled and it works so well. Why didn't Seussical do that?
It's an emotional pulp fiction.
Is this the time of the night where we just
Never
vent
actually seen the
about
movie.
Seussical?
We diss Seussical.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Have we
you're-
done this before?
If
Don't want to talk in circles.
probably, if you do Seussical, no judgment.
Good
I
luck.
feel like Seussical's a good show for schools, and
It's a good show for people who, I just don't like it.
No, I don't
There's no mincing it.
there's a very rare, slim amount of people that do like Seussical.
Yeah.
So you're
Oh,
not,
really?
It's
You're
a
not
good
offending
script for
many.
someone that is overly fond at a weird age of 40. You're obsessed with Dr. Seuss.
But
Let's
I mean,
be honest here.
You know how many, the stories, if they did break it up and have several different stories, You got a bunch of good, like, Dr. Seuss. You got the
It
Cat
is,
in the Hat.
but the problem
Yertle the
it is
freaking
all
turtle.
Horton Hears a Who. That is
Yeah,
the whole story of
exactly.
Horton
Yertle
Hears
the
a
Turtle,
Who.
isn't that about a bunch of turtles that, like, stack on top of each other or something like that?
I want Green Eggs and Ham, the musical.
Green Eggs
No,
and Ham.
I want one with
It's a
like
great
a
one.
bunch of little plays inside of it, like you were kind of saying, kind of like that. There's
Yeah.
a few plays
Dr.
that have been
Seuss
like
Pulp
that.
Fiction.
Yeah.
Write it. Yeah, I've actually never seen Pulp Fiction.
It's a
Oh,
bunch.
it's a good
Well,
movie.
it's a bunch of stories into one.
And they
Oh.
all, like, collide.
I don't have a play that I wanted to read on here tonight. I have many bad plays.
Womp
Don't get
womp.
me wrong. I have been in many bad plays, and I've written many bad plays. However, one that I've been trying to write, and one that's been on top of my brain, revolves around a cheeseburger, and I don't know why. And I have been literally trying to make a play that revolves around a cheeseburger for the past 2 months. I've had writer's block
Great.
about it. I have named it. I've titled it in my head "Double Cheese." That's what I want the title
Is
of this
that
to
the
be.
one that I was at your apartment and playing GTA one night, and I said you should try? I want you to try and make a play about a one-man play about a guy who has nothing left but a cheeseburger.
Possibly, maybe.
Is that where you got the idea from?
But the plot structure was going to be a children's show about
Yeah.
two characters that need to get this cheeseburger for some glorious reason. It's like an amazing cheeseburger.
So, like, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
You know, Bobby Lee, the podcaster, is in that movie.
That's right!
Anyway, they are trying to get to this burger, and there was going to be a ketchup dragon, which I was going to be really excited
Ketchup
for.
dragon.
Dragon?
Just imagine on stage a costume that's like 4 people with this giant red dragon that's like ketchup
That's got like
packets.
Heinz.
Right, something not sponsored. Something that's just something really funny. But for some reason, that's been on my mind. And then I was like, I write too many children's shows. I want to try to write something that's like as good as Leave Me Tender, something dramatic. So then I was like, what if I keep the name Double Cheese? Because for some reason, I am really called and really want to write a show about a double cheeseburger. So then I was thinking about some dramatic show about fast food workers that, like, that's all I got.
I gotcha.
Fast food workers, and it's a dramatic show.
You know what might be cool? And they've actually picked up on this before in, like, horror video games. Like, it's like a fast food. Doesn't seem like it's going to be horror at all. And then it kind of turns to a horror all of a sudden. Honestly, if you think about it, like, let's say it's like a fast food restaurant. It's, like, open 24/7. And then late at night, like, a stalker is, like, slowly stalking.
I was thinking.
Wait a minute.
I was
What?
thinking.
I've got it.
What?
A
I know
love
how to-
story.
I know how to make this.
Tell me.
It's simple.
Feed it to me.
Love story.
It's a comedy and a drama. It's a parody of Romeo and Juliet, as if nobody's ever done that. But it's Wendy's and McDonald's
Romeo
or
and Juliet. I could
whatever.
I could name
you know.
100 different
Hold
Romeo
on,
and Juliet.
he's on to something here.
Now,
He is.
and the lesson at the end is that actually, when they combined ideas from both restaurants, it made the best burger.
You wanna help me write this? Go into it.
This could be fun.
It's on the worst episode podcast because I truly thought this was a bad idea.
It
but
could be good, and it could be a
good.
comedy and a
It
drama.
could be so bad it's good.
And it could be like pretty campy, like, when someone gets, like, if we're doing like Romeo and Juliet with the violence, we could have like if someone gets stabbed, they have a bottle of ketchup and
So-
like spray it.
So we can still include the ketchup dragon in
Absolutely.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then it's settled. We can still do it.
Why don't you just do what everyone makes a joke about and make a medieval one about all of them? Like there's
White Castle?
there's-
There's literally medieval
Yeah.
White Castle.
Sir Burger King and
We'll call it
Like-
Burger King.
Queen Wendy
There's so many
live in their
jokes.
White Castle.
Why are there so
Why
many
they're
jokes that
entertained
revolve
by
around
their
fast food?
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I have a future in playing Grimace in this show.
Grimace would be like the hey you guys that lives in the basement of White Castle.
Yeah, I could see that.
Man,
I'd be the Hamburglar. That's who I'd want to play.
kind of look like him.
Is that an odd? Do you ever get fixated on a certain object, and you're like, I want to write a play about this because I don't know what it is about me. I think about something, and I am just so destined on making it.
Honestly, I don't know. I kind of.
That's never
I
happened. to
usually
you.
think of like a concept.
You've never looked at a lasagna and said, I need to write a play about a slice of lasagna.
I don't know. I'm pretty bad at thinking outside the box. I hate to say it. I'm pretty much. When I think of writing a show, I like to make it in a certain kind of form. And like, what was it? I wrote my Sleepy Hollow, and then I wrote something like right after, and I was like starting to describe the same sort of plot structure.
I remember that.
Same sort of characters, and I was like, wait a minute.
That's hard to do.
When something works so well, it's like you want to reuse the same sort of structure.
Well, think about every Hallmark movie ever made. Everyone loves the movies, and it's the same story.
True, it's the exact same story.
I saw one where it was about cheese making, of all things.
So let me guess,
the girl's name
from the big town came down to the small town, falls in love with the high school guy who is from the small town, who ends up...
I think the lover was like a cheese connoisseur. Like, he judged a
and the other
contest.
cheese winery, I bet. A winery and a cheese
Yeah,
connoisseur.
winery.
Well, and her name...
Someone falls, like, into the other's arms.
Her name was Brie. Like, and it was spelled like Brie cheese. B-R-I-E.
Yep.
It was...
Saw that coming.
I mean, it was not a good movie, but was it entertaining? Well, in my opinion, not really entertaining either, but...
I think I would rather watch the Vinnies or Double Cheese more than a Hallmark movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Bob.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Means a lot.
I would watch the Vinnies.
but not
thanks.
Double Cheese.
What? No, I would watch Double Cheese. It's still in the making. What day of the week do you think Vinnies would come on?
I don't know.
Thursday nights at 11.
Yep.
Depends how
It
soon...
would be late night TV.
It's definitely going to be, late night TV.
Mm-hmm.
Late night TV until Fox sues us.
So, you've been around us a while. You've seen our plays.
Yeah.
You've listened in on ideas we've had of plays. Tell me, what is the worst plays you think we've ever written or have started to write or have thought would be a good idea? And if you can think of it, think Mikey and I both. But we really want to know, what should we ditch?
Michael, I have seen a fair share of plays
No
come out of
diss.
you.
No diss.
No diss.
Okay, well, give me a diss because I can take it.
All right, I'm trying to get
I
a diss
can't.
up for both of you. So, a lot of your Christmas one could be tweaked around. That's the only
Oh,
criticism.
What Christmas
yeah.
one?
You remember
The
the
one-
Christmas episode?
Yeah, we
You
did
read
it
that?
for the Christmas
And it
episode.
didn't make much sense. It started out with Santa coming in and Tony was
You
Santa.
guys did a music video?
Yeah, that was your worst work.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It was just old, just like that one.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't polished. And I didn't
The
really...
jokes landed better in the Vinnies than they did in the Christmas one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, that was just a bad show.
All right, what's my worst one? I've written so many,
You
and
have
I know
written so many.
there has to have been a time. What do you think? Actually, I'm gonna get his first. What is the one time that you were like, this one, Michael? What are you doing? I know there's been a time.
What's the show that we did a couple Christmases ago?
You hate Naughty or Nice.
Naughty
well,
or
first
Nice.
of all,
A Christmas Spectacular.
I'm not a big fan of that one either because that was the first play I ever wrote.
That's a cheap way out. I can't go with Naughty or Nice. But Naughty or Nice, it was like your first one you wrote. It was on the spot.
I didn't know how to write a play.
You had to do it in, like, one day, right?
I literally wrote the whole musical.
The hair's getting stuck in my mouth.
In one day.
I'm going to be honest. I liked your Sherlock Holmes. I would tweak it around just a little bit.
Okay.
And that was one we did on here, right? That was
Yeah.
right? That
Tell
wasn't
me,
him?
tell me, what don't you like about it? Because I ditched this one.
To be fair, we skipped a scene, but I was very confused. Which is, I feel like for Sherlock Holmes, you need to feel smart doing it. They need to make you feel smart so you can kind of follow along.
True.
But it was still an undone concept, like I said during that episode.
I'm out.
Oof. Yep.
You guys do it alone.
Okay, come on.
No,
Come on.
If you're gonna talk about my stuff like that, I'm
I think the problem is, now you only read the segment we read on the show, right?
Which one are you talking about?
The Sherlock.
Okay.
I read the whole thing. Back
You did?
before you ditched
Oh,
Act
it's
Two.
done?
And I liked it. And the reason I liked it is it was a unique take on Sherlock
I agree.
Holmes.
I fully agree
love
with that.
he had a lot of Watson dialogues because, heck, it's always Sherlock. And Watson's sort of a comedic character. And I thought you did it pretty well. I really liked that show.
Luke,
I'm
hurt my feelings.
changing
I'm deleting.
my answer.
Oh, now he has another one to diss. Let's hear it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to keep dissing.
Yeah,
you
he's like,
because
I have
that's
another
too-
one actually.
Yeah, actually, never mind.
Up next is Behind the Curtain.
Oh, boy.
For
all
today's
right.
Behind the Curtain, we are going to do a musical karaoke improv in character. And it's going to be an improv scene. And we are all going to give each other a character and something to sing about. And the rule is you have to sing for at least 30 seconds.
Oh,
if
this
you
is
can
gonna
get
be
out your
fun.
phone and time it for each of us.
How long?
30 seconds at least. of an improv song in character and whatever you have to sing about. Luke, choose Mikey's character and what he's going to sing about. Do you have your phone?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm taking inspiration from the banners up there. Ghostbusters. Good movie. I want you to be a ghost hunter who falls in love with a ghost he thinks he is trying to bust, per se. Hold on. Let me be clear. Let me be clear.
I'm in love with a ghost? That would be a good idea for a Halloween show. Alright, you are... Let's see... I gotta think of something good. I went easy when we did picking characters. I wanted to give you something ridiculous.
Hard to think of one off the top of your head.
Yeah, you gotta get difficult.
Alright, you are... Alright, you're a very, very elderly old woman.
Why am I always an old woman?
Alright, you can be...
No, I'll keep it. I won't complain.
Alright, you're a very elderly old woman.
Okay, good.
Who made a batch of cookies, but lost them and don't know where to find them. And so you're just singing about that.
Okay.
And let's see what you can do with that.
Deal. That's a good one. That's a good one. Luke, I'm going to give you are an elderly clown. You're a man who has been doing clown for a profession for his whole life. And at his last birthday party, someone threw a cold, uncooked steak at him. So now he's going into retirement. So that's your...
So he's like, I'm out.
30-second timer on Mikey's phone.
Yeah. All right.
So once again, elderly lady who can't find her cookies. You are... What is Mikey?
I am a ghostbuster.
Ghost hunter.
Ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Who is in love with a ghost.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, who's going first?
All right, restart on. I'm a little old lady and I've lost my cookies. I cannot find them. I am such a rookie. I made a whole batch of chocolate chip and now I can't seem to find them. Are they under my hips? I lost my cookies today. Where are they? My cookies today, where are they? Time. All right.
Oh, yeah, I think we have a clear winner. Luke, let's see how you do. All right. 3, 2, 1.
There's one thing I love, and that's clowning around at parties for money. But one fateful day when my career was astray, I got a steak thrown at me. And it hurt, 'cause it was uncooked. But that's okay, it's just time to go, 'cause the steak was uncooked. Oh, yeah.
That was it. That was
good.
Yeah.
You know what that sounded like at the end there? Tony Dietrich.
I saw. Tony sounded just like him.
All right, Mike. Here we go.
Bubble, bubble. Do 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 do. I love you. Ba 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 boo. Will always be true. A boo ba bee ba bee ba bo. And me and you, we're gonna take a stroll through the graveyard. You got hit by something that really hurt and killed ya. But I'm always gonna love you, no matter if you're real or just in the sky. Don't know why, but Mrs. Ghost, I love you.
Woo! I like that. Had a real quartet feel to it there.
Yeah,
you should perform on cruise ships.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks, Bob.
You've gotten into the big leagues of sponsors
I know.
here on Struggling to Write. In fact, we'll go through these sponsors one by one. Luke, first up with the Made by Pepsi. What is it? Show it off to the camera, Luke.
Sting. Oh, this is so cool. I actually get to show off.
From the creators of Pepsi.
From the
we're in
creators.
the big
What
leagues.
is it? What does
It's
it
an
taste
energy
like?
drink
No kidding.
called Sting. So, live reaction. Luke, crack it open and taste it.
Oh, that was crisp. That was a crisp sound.
Energy drink ASMR.
Well, what do you think?
Do you know... Oh, that's good. It's like... I don't want to say they're competitor here, but do you know Mountain Dew Code Red? Tastes like that, but it gives you energy. Like, it doesn't have the downside of an energy drink. It tastes like a pop, but it's going to give you energy.
Pretty good.
It's great. Like, new customer here.
Well, anyways, got to get my advertiser voice. I have Doritos Dynamita sticks. Doritos Dynamita sticks. Hot honey mustard.
All right, try one of these. Try.
I love Doritos. First of all, like
Yeah.
I like Cool Ranch. Cool Ranch is the best. Anyways, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat one.
These chips are actually horrible. We're not sponsored.
Yeah, no, we're not sponsored.
We
by
hated the taste, and we just wanted to tell you, these are really tasty. These are called cheese ramen. You can get them off of TikTok Shop, and I had one today. They're delicious. They are far better than any name brand snack. I would much rather eat.
What are you thinking?
Is that the most horrible thing you've ever tried?
That's repulsive.
Yes.
There's a brand we're never getting sponsored by.
If you're looking for a snack, Doritos, this ain't it. Go head over to my TikTok shop and check
good.
out this cheese ramen and the Sting energy drink
So good.
made from the creators of Pepsi.
The ramen sounds pretty good.
We'll have some of this after the
What kind
show.
of like flavor is this?
It's cheese ramen. I had some the other day, and it was
cheese ramen.
actually
Yeah.
pretty good.
Ooh.
One of the last things I want to do for the viewers before we go is give them 5 tips from very unprofessional playwrights of how to write a play. What if they're trying to get into it? What if Luke over there is wanting to write a play for his first time?
So, should we go back and forth? I think that's the easiest way.
Yeah.
I think the number one thing,
Number 1.
absolutely, like, now you can have a concept that's garbage, but you can make it into something good. Like, for instance, we came up with a pretty decent cheeseburger idea that you would think is kind of garbage. But I think the one thing you got to keep in mind when you're writing a show is to always keep the plot moving. Mm-hmm. Every word written should be for the advancement of the plot.
Yeah.
Don't put in filler unless the filler advances the plot. It can even be the slightest bit, but everything needs to relate towards and keep the pace going.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Too many people add filler where
It's
trying
just
to bulk up a scene.
Yeah, it's just bad. And I think humor can definitely advance the plot. People think, oh, well, we're just going to put in this random joke here. No.
A joke can move it
A joke can move it along great. And so can a song if you're in a musical. Like, you don't know how many freaking shows. It's actually easier to move a plot along with a song, because you have the sound of the song, you got the lyrics, you got the way it's sung. You got a bunch of different attributes there that contribute to it. Oh, you go next.
Number 2. I've told Luke this, and this is a personal thing for me. What I like to do is start with characters. I think of a character that I would want to see on stage, or want to play on stage possibly, or see, let's say, Mikey or Luke playing on stage. And I think about them, I think of their attributes, and I think about their story. What's their story? Because when it comes down to it, the leads of a show, it's really about their story. I mean, they have a story to tell, and that's the story. So I think the first thing to do if you're writing a play is write down what characters you want to put in your play and give them complete personalities and just
That's smart.
bulk up on that as much as you can.
See, the way I write, I kind of start from the beginning, and
then you're like,
then go. I chug along.
Do you start with a character description? I will ask that. Or do you just start Act 1, Scene 1?
I just start Act 1, Scene 1.
See, I have to start with a character description.
Which brings me to my next point.
Number 3.
My next point, consistency. Do not make a character different in one scene than in another. Or
You know why that happens.
because they go back to it the next day.
Right, you're not thinking about what you wrote before.
You've got to think about the character's background, the character's just little things the character does, like sayings, little things like that. I saw a show. It was it Neil Simon musical? But it was really good because there was like a bunch of little things that identified a character, and it was kept the entire show. Sweet Charity, that's the name of the show. Neil Simon.
Yeah.
So good, so well written, and the actors were fantastic because they did those little quirks that were written to identify the characters. But keep those little things consistent throughout the entirety of a show. The things, as an actor, nothing makes me angrier than when I have to do different scenes where the character is written different, and I'm like, this makes no sense.
39 steps.
Yeah, 39 steps.
Number 4. Revise.
Yeah.
You can't revise your script enough. I produced a play. Sleepy Hollow, Horseman, and it's not even close to being revised enough. I need, if you produce a play, if you have written a play and revised it 60 times, you can revise it again. And especially after you do a play, or if you do a read-through with people, that's a good tip too. Side note, if you do a read-through with friends, they can give you advice, and then you can revise it again. Revise your play as many times as you can.
No way to figure out a typo than to have your friends read it,
if there's
and
a
then
typo,
I'll make fun of it.
Mikey will be there to let you know. And there's always, I struggle to find that one typo. There's always one in Mikey's lines. So.
And I always say,
it's always Mikey's lines.
As written.
Yeah. He's true to the character, true to the script.
You know, in terms of revision, not to deviate too much, but Walt Disney, you know, the reason he built theme parks, and in addition to movies, is because he was always unsatisfied with the movie. He always wanted to tweak something. But eventually you have to release a movie. A theme park, you can go back, add a new ride, change the theming, and that's why he liked that. So revision is important, but I guess there is like a point where you have to be like, all right, it's good enough. This is good.
But even still, you see Broadway shows that change over the course of a couple of years.
Big Fish. I saw like the American version I was in. Then they did the West End and they removed a bunch of songs, and it kind of made me mad because I didn't like the changes.
Yeah,
but
that happens.
But they change it nonetheless. They see what works and revise it.
And number 5, Luke, take it away. Luke doesn't write plays. Number 5.
All right, number 5. Put me on the spot. Give me a second. Let's see. What do I do when I write a play? You know, honestly,
talk about it.
No, here I got one.
Go.
Don't give up.
Well, that's a good point.
There's things that have sat on the shelf for years. My Western, which I mentioned in the first episode.
You're struggling to write, don't give up.
I don't give up. I guess that's...
Don't quit, kids. Quit drugs, don't quit writing plays.
You can struggle,
English,
but you'll finally get there. You're the little writer that could.
This episode of our worst works has really, as a writer, makes me want to write another play, and it makes me want to write them better. Looking back at some of the stuff we've talked about.
Me too.
I'm ready to write a play, and I'm ready to give it my all.
I mean, this is a TV show, and you do have to write things differently, like with exterior, interior.
Right.
You've got that control. It is different.
Screenplays are fun.
It's different to write this than a play, but I don't think I'd write another screenplay unless I knew it would get... Because I don't like to waste my time.
If a company does want to reach out to you and do the Vinnies, written by Mikey Mills, where can they reach you? Where can they reach you to do the Vinnies, Mikey?
Well, if you'd like to read the rest of my script, you can reach me at mwmillsmusic@gmail.com. And I'd probably have to change a bunch of stuff for so I don't get sued. I mean, it's very obviously Family Guy.
And if you'd like to do my double cheese that I haven't written yet, or any of the shows that everyone else in the episode dissed of mine tonight, you can email me.
I never dissed any, did I?
You're a good friend, Mikey.
Aww.
You can email me at, I got a new email just for this.
Oh, really?
michaelenglishscripts@gmail.com.
Oh, very fancy.
Very fancy. With that being said, we have one last thing to do on the podcast, and that is our musical goodbye.
You know what we should do?
Give it to us.
We should do, like, the improv game, where we get, like, 15 seconds to do a goodbye.
You have to say goodbye in character.
All right. Sounds good.
Failing jazz star from... Italy. We'll go with Italy.
All right. A failing jazz star from Italy. Goodbye, dear viewers. We hope to see you soon, but not soon enough. Please tune in again. I'm a failing jazz musician.
That's right.
Yeah, it sounded like the cow. Right. You are, let's see here. What's something good? You are President of the United States.
Hello, America. Hello, America. I'm about to hit the button. Gonna say goodbye to the world, but to be honest, I forgot what the button does.
Well, goodbye. See you later. I just peed myself, and I need to go change. It's gonna give me an infection. See you later, alligators. After a while, crocodile.